And ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Okay, episode 2 of our series 2. Sorry. No, it's fine. Episode 2 of our series. I'm sorry, very flustered. Episode 2 of our series 2. We had a nice, fun episode last time. So why not, not do that at all? With, is this the saddest episode? Walking Distance is sad but hopeful.
Yes.
Oh, On Thursday We Leave for Home is pretty sad.
Yes.
But that's sort of a tragedy of personality, where
Yeah, this is just irony. Like
bleak, tragic romance territory.
Yeah.
I love a tragic romance. I love romance movies. So this is very much in my vibe. What's your mileage on? I don't think when we talk about movies, you've ever been like, yeah, I love, like, I'm trying to think of a movie that you love that is, you've talked about loving, that is just a straight romance movie.
I can't think of any.
Yeah.
I don't hate them.
I was going to say, should we bring in your long-time girlfriend?
Yeah.
for the bit where you go, I think it's overrated. I hate romance. I hate love. So lots of people describe this as a science fiction Twilight Zone remake of the traditional story of The Gift of the Magi, which, as a matter of fact, Serling was in. He made a radio play adaptation, and he played the role of the man. The basic gist of the story is that a woman cuts off her long, beautiful hair so that she can sell it and make enough money to buy, I think it's the correct chain or something for her lover's watch. Little do we know that her husband has just sold his watch to get enough money to buy his wife some beautiful combs for her hair. Yes, there you go. Yeah.
There's a bit of a difference there.
Yes, which is, and at the end of that story, they go, "Oh, we both love each other just as much as we both love each other deeply. Oh, this is wonderful," and they have a good old time. That's not what happens in the Long Morrow.
He doesn't walk off sad.
Deeply desolate in all feelings and emotion. Long narration, so I'll just cut to the end. Commander Douglas Stansfield, the astronaut, a man about to embark on one of history's longest journeys, 40 years out into endless space and hopefully back again. This is the beginning, the first step towards man's longest leap into the unknown. Science has solved the mechanical details, and now it's up to one human being to breathe into life the blueprints and computers, to prove once and for all that man can live half a lifetime in the total void of outer space, 40 years alone in the unknown. This is Earth. Ahead lies a planetary system. The vast region in between is the Twilight Zone. So you sort of expect you think it's going to be, I don't know, an episode like The Lonely, or an episode like Where Is Everybody? And you think it's going to be, oh, can he survive this trip? But then we learn pretty early, he'll be fine because they've got the frozen capabilities.
Yep.
And for him, he's only going to age a couple of weeks, which is good and fine. No problems at all. The episode ends and they've had a great mission. Everything was successful with the mission and nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, he comes back. He's young.
He's wonderful. And when he comes back, he finds a lovely woman and everything's great.
Yeah.
What did you, should we rank it now?
Yeah.
That is not what this is at all.
God.
This is such a painfully beautiful, tragically romantic, wonderful story. What was your first reaction to The Long Morrow?
Well, it was a bit miserable, but in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way. I it was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. Um, I think watching this and last week's back to back was well, last episodes
Hmm.
back to back was pretty great. They were very different.
Hmm.
Obviously, the Martian, well, the real Martian, Please Stand Up was very light-hearted,
Yeah.
and then you go to this, and
You want to
it
die?
starts off very nice, very easygoing. I did
Hmm.
not think that the twist was going to be what it was
Hmm.
at all.
Did you
Um,
think it was going to be a happy ending when they're like, oh, is she in an old lady's home? No, she's in a hibernation room.
no, I thought I thought it was gonna be exactly what it said it was, and he'd come back, and she was a lot older,
Yeah.
and um, I thought that like the what's it, Stephen King.
11/22/63.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah, but no.
she's called Sandy.
Oh shit.
No, she's not. She's called Sadie.
Right. Okay.
she's called Sadie Dunhill.
Yeah.
But that would have been weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11/22/63. When I first watched that, when did the TV show come out? Was 2011 or something? And I even though I was 11, no, it was 2014. Anyway, whenever it came out,
Yeah.
I quite literally sobbed like an absolute baby. And at that point, I hadn't had a relationship. I hadn't been in love. And I just sobbed like an absolute baby. And then when I read the book, oh my God,
No.
they had to.
I mean, we were saying about romance stories earlier, and when you asked me if I liked romantic films, but like thinking about all my favorite TV series, I think romantic stuff just gets me in my feels
Oh yeah.
a bit more than other stuff.
You know,
Yeah.
I was in love earlier in the year. We don't need to dwell on it. But obviously, I'm a writer and all that sort of thing. And I said, I want to write a romance, and all that sort of thing, because I was all inspired and all that sort of thing. And then it got to a point where I was like, oh. And then I said to her, I said, but it will end badly. My favorite genre is a tragic romance. And she was like, why does it have to end badly? And I think, like a sailing line, I said, because it always ends badly. Little did I know how bleakly foreshadowing that would be of what would occur in less than a fortnight or whatever.
I did watch it and think this is a very Tom episode.
People keep saying this. When I showed David and Rian 45 years for an episode, and they got 20 minutes in, and it was a miserable married old couple talking about how maybe their love's a lie or whatever. And and it's one of the great movies of the past 20 years, and it's one of my favorites. But people are just like, what are you doing? I think Rian said, "Oh, this is such a Tom movie," and I looked at scheduling, and it's coming. It'll have already come out, but it comes out. It goes Bridesmaids, 45 years, then Marriage Story, and then a Christmas episode, As Yet Undecided. And I'm like, well, we haven't done Eyes Wide Shut yet. And I was thinking, are we really going to do back to back to back to back 45 years into Marriage Story, into Eyes Wide Shut?
Yeah.
This rewatch, maybe it's because I'm watching it in a time of my life where I'm again sad and alone. It's like when we did a load of Company episodes, and thank God I was in a relationship when we did that, because I think that would maybe be the most insufferable podcasting that has ever occurred.
Yeah.
Marriage Story was bad enough. No, it's just such a, again, very simple, beautiful, pained. Let's just start at the beginning. So I love the design of the frozen pod. I think it's very simple but very effective. Just a little bit of frozen on the side, and again, we think it's going to be maybe a tragic episode. More of an ironic episode. Maybe in a Time Enough at Last sort of style of. It's going to be an episode all about the cryogenic freezing going wrong, and he's going to be frozen in time, and he's going to wake up or whatever, and it's, you know, Planet of the Apes, you know, he goes, you know, it was going to be a twist like that. And then we have this beautiful line of, it's here, two characters, and that's all it ever should have been. But I remember very clearly the arrival of character number 3, and we meet. Let's meet those first 2 characters. Pardon me. We have a character of the astronaut, as he keeps being affectionately named, played by Robert Lansing as Commander Douglas Stansfield. Very charming, very affable sort of man, and then we meet George Macready as Dr. Bixler, and they're having sort of long 5-minute conversation about space and time and all that sort of thing, and the not ethics of time, well, I guess ethics, but the sort of logistics, that's the word, of time travel and cryogenic freezing and all that sort of thing. And they're talking about more so about it being suspended in motion rather than full-blown cryogenical freezing. But we think that's going to be the episode. And then we meet Mariette Hartley as Sandra Horn, who, you know, in that sort of Sadie Dunhill mold, is just absolutely so charming, beautiful, lovely. I think they've actually got great chemistry. I think, what do we get? We get initial scene, we get one dancing scene, and then we have the goodbye. And obviously we're giving it more credit than, you know, we're giving it credit because we know that they have to do all of this in 15 minutes. But I think they do a marvelous job. I think it's really believable chemistry. I think Serling actually manages to write it nice and believable and make Sandra a real funny character in herself. Like, she's got some great lines.
I think the fact that they're commenting like on the fact that they did just meet is like, it makes it less of a flaw with the episode, because these 2 characters are aware of how like absurd
finite their time is. I mean, let's talk bleak. The relationship that we just referenced was a relationship that lasted 2 months, despite me knowing that I was going away. So, you know, you know, and then I've come back to nothing, which again is in a way scarily eerily prescient. But yeah, no, I love that Sandra's quirky and that she's, you know, do you think you could do 2 hours for dinner? Well, despite the fact that I am invaluable to the operation and that the whole space agency depends on me alone, and I think it's just funny and nice, and I mean, obviously, I think Mariette Hartley's absolutely wonderful. There was a commentary with her, and basically, she, in one of those twist of fate things again, after watching Requiem for a Heavyweight, Rod Serling's initial big 90-minute play for TV, she rang him or wrote him, I can't remember what she said, to come to, she ran the drama club at her local college, and she invited him to come and talk. And he came, and everybody fancied him, and he had this pipe and all that sort of thing. And then come 5 years later, she's got a break, and she sees him driving along the lot and says, "Hey, you probably don't remember. But I, you know," and he goes, "Oh no, I do remember. Yeah, that was cool." And he goes, "What are you doing here?" And she says, "Well, I need a job." And he just so happened to have this episode in the pipeline, and there you go. And again, talk about a twist of fate for how just brilliant she is in this episode. So yes, before he goes, we do get the initial flirtation, which starts off quite, you know, stereotypical with the dropping of the files and all that sort of thing. And then suddenly, you know, we're excited with the time travel talk. You know, it's good time travel exposition. You know, what's this place called? Well, you might call it Stansfield's Mount Everest. And you know, and you're looking for a man, you're the one, and all that sort of stuff. And then we get this wonderful, relatable, you know, he does the name tag joke, he does the ESP. Yes, your name is Sandra Horn. And there's that wonderful moment, and then she realizes that it's great. And and the romance music, I couldn't get an exact credit, because in those later series, like they start reusing themes from earlier episodes. I found somebody attributing it to Jerry Goldsmith, who did some of the music in the third series and the earlier series. And whoever it was, it's absolutely beautiful, touching romance music. I think it's great. But then immediately we go back to the time travel exposition, and suddenly it's no longer fun. You know, it's sort of like dying and coming back to life again. Well, it's sort of like dying in the sense that nobody will know you. You'll have to start living all over again as a stranger, as an anachronism.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal stuff.
It sucks that they never told him that her freezing was an option.
Well, I don't think it is an option, is it? I think she freezes herself, what, a year in, 2 years in?
Yeah, probably.
Once it becomes commercial.
Yeah.
With him, they'll find out that it's successful. And then 2 years later, it'll become commercial. Yeah, well, this is the thing, isn't it? It's a shame that Juliet didn't, just wait. Wait 2 minutes. It's a shame that they didn't get that letter. There's the whole Rosencrantz and Guildenstern for Hamlet, like the two supporting characters. There should be one all about the guy who messed up the letter delivery in Romeo and Juliet.
Yes,
that guy must feel awful.
Oh God.
And then he goes under. We have the teary goodbye, and he goes under. My life had been, my life had been space, missions, projects, and expositions. There had been no time for intrusions that took the form of a woman's face, a voice, a short month of a man and a woman drawing together, becoming a part of one another, reaching tentatively into that strange and mysterious pond of love, and then watching the ripples that came from it. But now I think of these things. Now they come to mind. Now in the darkness, in the cold, the solitude, the stillness, the loneliness. Now there comes a feeling of warmth. Sandy, where are you now, Sandy? Across the void. My dear Sandy. Sandy, my darling. Oh, Sandy, baby. Sandy, my darling. You can take this rusty hunk of tin through the vastness of a naked... I can't go back into this sincere, beautiful monologue. I love you, Sandy. Very, very good. And again, very believable. And then we go to ad break. Do you think we're missing? I mean, we're giving it credit for what we do get, but do we think we're missing maybe just a love montage? Maybe they didn't have the budget. Maybe it's not really needed, but maybe just a little love montage.
I don't know. Maybe. How long was it again between them meeting and him leaving?
I believe it's a month. He says in that monologue, in the Sandy, my darling monologue.
Okay, then I think it could have done with it, to be honest, to solidify that it hasn't just been one evening and then
And obviously it's the 60s, so they can't show them in bed together and all that sort of stuff, which I mean, there's a nice little line there of when two people draw together, and obviously that's sex. Sorry to break it to you, Jay, but that might be sex. And then we come, and awkward segue. Sorry. We come to the modern day, and the busiest man at a board I've ever seen. Yeah, he's very busy. And will we find her in an old lady's room? No. You'll find her in a hibernation room. You'll find a young woman of 26 years of age. You go, You don't think that because because they don't even change the music. I think they should have changed the music. I think we should have had a happy tune. Yep. And you'll find her in a hibernation room. Da, 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 da. But they keep the sad music. And it's like, oh no. And then we have this incredible scene shared by Marriott Hartley and Edward Binns from 12 Angry Men. Juror 6 to be specific. And he's the bishop in the verdict as General Walters. And he's talking to her and he tells the truth, which is that he broke his system. He took himself out of hibernation so that he would be 40 years older with her when he got back.
And it's completely understandable why he would do that. I can sympathize.
It's just terrible.
It just sucks.
It just sucks so hard, you know. And it's not just that he's 40 years older, it's that he has spent 40 years alone in a cockpit.
Yes.
You know, the great, incredible line here, his loneliness must have been something brand new in human experience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then, you know, and then again, just to rub it in, just if this wasn't painful enough, he did reach the solar system, though. Oh, yes, we found that 20 years ago. One of the ironies, Miss Horn, is that we could have saved him the trip. Just evil Serling. Evil.
So evil.
And then here he comes, this long, pained, slow walk of the damned.
Yeah.
As he comes and he's got a quivering lip. I thought this was genuinely, I know a lot of these like 60s performances can be heightened and all that sort of stuff, but I thought he was absolutely sensational here. And the way he delivers stuff through his mouth and all that sort of stuff, I thought it was genuinely heartbreaking and beautiful. And then, yeah, you remember me? Remember you. I've spent 40 years remembering you, Sandy, painting your face in my dreams, and, you know, saying your name. And then she has, and then, you know, she does the whole thing of, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. And he has to let her go.
Yeah.
Because it's for the better of them.
Yeah.
And then General Walters, Stansfield, you're really quite an incredible man. It may be the one distinction in my entire life that I knew you, that I knew a man who put such a premium on love. Truly, truly quite a distinction.
Yeah. Douglas
Stanfield, one of the forgotten pioneers of the space age. He's been pushed aside by the flow of progress and the passage of years, and the ferocious travesty of fate. Tonight's tale of the ionosphere and irony, delivered from the Twilight Zone. Whoopa.
Yeah.
I'm trying, what's the next episode? I'm trying to remember what we're doing next. Is it a cheerful one? No, but it's more enjoyable than this beautiful tragic episode. Okay. Let's rank it. This rewatch was pretty big for me, I have to say. Yeah. What's your initial numbering?
Six.
Yeah, instead of the masks, I could do that this time. I really could. Yeah. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was really brilliant.
Me too.
Let's lock it in. Oh, I want to talk about this as well. So when I saw the play, the big thing for me with the play was that they tried to have their cake and eat it. So like a lot of the time they would do jokes at the expense of the show, and they'd be like, ha ha ha, remember how kooky it is? And the biggest thing was that you could never tell what tone they were going for. Prime example, this scene. They delivered this scene with all the beauty and heartache and pain. And then they had the worst old man mask you've ever seen. And he just slowly walked across the stage. It was embarrassing and people laughed. And my big thing was, and I knew a guy, I still know him, he's Garth, he's one of my great friends, but he loved it and he said it was hilarious.
It's not meant to be hilarious.
But you've got to, this is the thing, it's like these things only work on their face if you meet them at their level. It's like rewatching those old, it's like rewatching, I mean, Casablanca's elevated, I guess, but it's like, I don't know, I watched An Affair to Remember the other day, which is, like 50s melodrama to the max. And it's not, you know, there is lots of scenes that aren't that well written and a few performances that are a bit clunky. But by the end, you buy in and you're crying, even though it is ridiculous and it's an insane set of circumstances. And it's not an exceptionally made film. The melodrama and the romance and Cary Grant's performance and Deborah Kerr, you just fall for it. And it's the exact same thing here. Sure, it's over the top in a sense. Sure, some of the performances are. I actually no. I take all this back. I don't think the performances are dated. I thought Janet was excellent, and I thought that William Bingsley was. I thought everybody was genuinely touching and beautiful and brilliant. That's why it's cranked. It's cranked our top 10. 13 In Praise of Pip. Then Long Live Walter Jameson. Where is everybody? People are alike all over. Perchance to Dream. Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. The Masks. The Long Morrow. Time Enough at Last. Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? On Thursday We Leave for Home. It's a Good Life and Walking Distance. Jay, any final thoughts on this beautiful, tragic, break your heart episode?
Oh, it's just fantastic. Yeah.
Pretty brilliant stuff. We'll be back next week with The Silence, which is a great two-hander. Okay. And yeah, I think it's darkly funny. I would say it's darkly funny. It's less deeply tragic than this. And then the week after that, same week for us, obviously we do these back to back, but Third from the Sun, which is a great sort of sci-fi adventure tale. So we're moving away from the deep, desolating tragedy of The Long Morrow. Thank God. I've been Thomas Carruthers.
Jerry.
And that was The Long Morrow. Thank you very much.